Just showing you some live pictures now coming in. Now, not the best quality as we speak. They are cutting it a little bit, but we're just showing this. This is the Bargo area. So we have a fire here that's burning between Sydney and Canberra. This one is at emergency level. It's also a major issue. It's believed to have already, in this broad region around Pheasant's Nest and Bargo, and you can see the proximity there to properties. So it's believed to have already claimed dozens of properties. They're not sure how many homes, how many perhaps sheds and so on, but look, you can see the proximity there, and even some burnt down shrubs and so on right next to homes with a pool in the background there. That's clearly a family home. You can see the firefighters on the ground, and this looks like a classic situation that happens with this, that little areas, embers come up from the fire front and the wind throw them forward, spotting occurs, and that's why there's so much warning about making sure your property doesn't have anything around it in terms of fuel. You can see some sort of structure in there is burning down. It is surrounded by bushland, so we're not sure whether that might just be a shed or something or somebody's home. In this area, in the Bargo area, we had a crew as well, a crew of 5 injured, 5 overrunning this RFS crew, 3 with serious injuries. Those people burnt, 2 of them have been flown to hospital. The others have been treated, including on the scene. But this is a clearly very serious situation, a very fast-moving one as well in this area in Bargo. It's just off the Hume Highway, and in fact 60 kilometres of the highway, this major highway connecting Sydney and Canberra, is closed down at the moment. So that's not something that happens all that often. You can see structures alight there. That, look, I don't want to guess too much. It did look like a significant structure there. It is amongst that bushland though, so whether it's just a large shed or otherwise, it's a bit hard to tell from here. But clearly it's too fast moving right now for the fire service, even with some of the aerial assistance there, and you can see a helicopter in the region. We know that they have been doing water bombing where possible, but clearly this is just too big a fire, and that's a helicopter you can see trailing behind it, little parachute type thing that does dump water on the fires to try to put them out. They're resorting at the moment a lot of the time to have to pull that water out of pools and hope to save the homes nearby. You can see some of the smoke coming from, this is the edge of somebody's property. Now you can see a firefighter actually right there on that property, and there's a shed where the roof's collapsed, so clearly that's caught fire. But the house in that situation looks like it's saved. This is what often happens. You can get a structure on the edge of the property. It might be a car or vehicle that I think you could see there as well to light that they try to save, but that you can see the ferocity of this fire. There's a water bombing aircraft moving in right now. You can see now that's dropping down water and trying to, well, there is a fire right there. It's putting out indeed on the edge of someone's property. So it has the dual effect. They are often wetting part of the foliage to hope the fire doesn't spread, but also putting them out. The bigger aircraft, when they do come in, they have the bigger impact. Some of those jet engines can drop massive amounts of fire retardant. They don't have a lot of them, so that's why they can't be in any fire. We'll see perhaps if they pop up in this Bargo fire in New South Wales, but you can see that structure well and truly ablaze, and that would be all of perhaps 60, 70 metres from a whole host of homes which are more in a sort of urban setting there in this Bargo fire. So these are live pictures coming to the newsroom. That's why they are occasionally breaking up, but live pictures coming in via helicopter into the newsroom of this Bargo fire, this structure well and truly alight. The dozens of structures that the fire service say have been destroyed, they're not sure. Some of these are quite remote, how many might be sheds and so on. But they do believe as well some of them are the homes of firefighters who are out there. They can't down tools and go back to save their own homes. They simply have to stay out there, the volunteer firefighters, and continue to fight the fire front where it's posing the most risk to not just property but life as well. And this is about as bad as we've seen it, I think, today at the moment, purely the size of some of these fires. And we've got this suddenly breeze coming up now. It has changed the direction of them. The number of emergencies has actually been downgraded according to that last upgrade. So there are only 2 that are emergencies, but this is one of the ones we're watching right now. It's described as the Green Wattle Creek fire and is out of control. So this is very much an unfolding emergency for firefighters here. You heard earlier from Shane Fitzsimmons that this fire threat is expected to last quite a few hours, at least the next couple. The change of direction of the fire means in that particular moment is when they're trying to get it under control over that next 2 hours. That's when they have to try to make sure that it doesn't actually imperil life and property like it is here, or try to minimise as much as possible. If it heads in a direction where they can control it, well, that's when they downgrade it. But that's why they've been waiting for this southerly breeze to kick in. It's just going up to 3:45, so that's moving up through the Sydney region, and further north is where that breeze is heading at the moment. And as you can see, already causing a trail of destruction. So look, we'll try to get a further update on that situation. We've got the pictures coming in there, and it's very close to that urban setting, so we'll take you back there we'll take you back there soon. I think we are going to move on, but we'll certainly keep you abreast. We'll stay in this situation for a moment. Even if we do move on, we'll keep this picture going. Obviously, this helicopter shot, you can see the car burnt out there as well. Look, I don't want to guess at whether that's a home or a shed. It's certainly a very significant structure. And if you have just joined us, when you do zoom out a bit more, you can see just how many homes. It looks like perhaps a dozen or more in that area, and quite close to where this is all burning. If the helicopter does zoom out in the next moment or two, you'll see that. It's just zooming in on a burnt-out car there. This is the fire that's burning near the Hume Highway, which has been shut. Some 60 kilometres of highway, which is very rare. Inland from Wollongong, depending on how well you know this region, just north of Bowral, but this is burning not too far away from the Hume Highway, and it's one that's already claimed, well, we believe possibly dozens, plural, of properties. 5 people from a fire crew were overrun by fire, so we're not sure if they were inside or outside of the truck, but that's how fast moving these things are. And fire crews, it sounds obvious, they risk life and limb, but they assess things as best they can. They do leave when they believe they can't actually contain a fire, but sometimes it happens too fast. You can have spotting as well that occurs behind a fire truck, and then they might have to stay put, get in the truck and hope that they can get in a position that it doesn't overwhelm them. The injuries are a very serious one, serious burns including to faces and airways as well. So it sounds awful, to be frank. You can see there is a helicopter there given, and there's a better wide shot there of how many properties are in the area. You can see smoke coming from some of these properties. It doesn't look like any of those houses have at this stage burned down, but that some of the sheds, and this is what often happens, the embers start, they're able to keep the property and around it as wet as they can. A shed might go up, and that's not considered too bad a loss as long as you can save the house. It looks like quite a big shed and sort of structure here. I'm not sure if it might well be an industrial building, this one we're seeing here. Being out in the country, could be anything to do with agriculture or livestock, for example. And that's the zoom out picture there, where we can see, well, just how many properties are in the path of this fire. And another one there flaring up. That looks like it's not endangering any property there, I don't think, unless that was a small structure burnt down. But you get an idea of, well, there are spot fires all over the place. This is what we keep hearing from the RFS.